Welcome to the Historic Preservation Commission special meeting on July 23rd. Can we have a roll call?
Chairman Bothroyd.
Here.
Ex officio Wood.
Present.
Commissioner Brown.
Here.
Commissioner Walk.
Here.
Commissioner Long. Commissioner Mahoney.
Here.
And Commissioner Powell.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Okay. Has everyone had a chance to look at the minutes from July 6th? And do we have any comments or questions from the commissioners?
I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
And I'll second.
You have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Okay. First discussion we have is, well,
Dr. Proud is joining the table, and so you heard a little bit about this application during the regularly scheduled July meeting, and so just for everyone's kind of knowledge, it's kind of commonly known as the purple building in town right now, so looking to paint it and kind of get it a little bit revitalized, I would say. So Dr. Proud, I'll turn it over to you if you have any other commentary.
Yeah, and some signage on there too, proposed also. But as you know, everyone pretty much knows what the building more or less looks like now. And we essentially have two color schemes picked out to change it up to one that's kind of like a border, and then one color to fill in all the rest of the areas. Basically, the bluish color for the border of windows and whatnot. Platinum, I think is what it is for the rest of the entire area. I'd also talked to Larry, he's one of the ones that built the building, and about getting it approved for the second floor also. And ideally do it all at once, as long as it's not cost prohibitive for him. Sometimes you have to get like a boom truck and stuff like that. Or if it can be accessed somehow from the top, I'm not sure. But he just said that,
I'm sorry, what about the top of the building?
to get that area approved also, because you can't really see it on there, but there's windows on the second floor that are the exact same purple
Okay.
color, and it would just look the best.
Painted match.
And he was.
The building with the purple windows is what it would be known as if he did.
Yeah. That's right.
And, like I said, I just ideally want it all approved so that we won't have an issue, and he's willing to do it just as long as it's not cost prohibitive. I'm going forward on doing it also. But, it's on my end, I want to do that. The signage is pretty straightforward, just more or less what you see there. Just slightly on it, we'll probably put on the other window than what's shown, as I've kind of marked on in there. And more or less it's shown. The other thing that I didn't know if it was part of it, because I just don't know. We thought about maybe changing up the door handles and maybe adding a mail slot box, if that needs to be addressed. We were just thinking about it today, and I just wanted to be respectful.
I don't see a problem with it.
As long as they're,
There's several businesses down the street that have mailboxes actually hanging on
attached,
the door.
yeah. So I don't see any problem as long as they're,
Just so that,
Yeah.
on the days
Yeah.
or whatnot.
Are you planning on hanging this? Is that going to
Yes.
be on the interior?
Sorry, I didn't mention that. Is there a picture of it where it's to be hung?
there's already something up there, isn't there?
There's not, there used to be,
Okay, that's.
but essentially there's a metal,
It's like right
yeah,
here.
you can actually see the corner of it. I have a better picture of it, so.
Maybe.
Really
I think that's what
interested. But essentially there's that little, it's about 3 feet sticking out in there, and we'll just hang it by a chain.
On the west side of the building?
Yes.
That's what.
Well, I think it's actually on the east
East.
side.
East side?
Yeah. You can see it in the corner. No, the other picture. Yeah, on the right side, way up at the top. I got a picture of it too. And that, it had previously a sign there.
Oh, that's the west side.
Yeah,
of
that's
the
what
building.
that's what that's why I said.
Yeah.
I saw there was a
Yeah.
reflection in the.
That's what I thought too.
Sorry, you're
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah.
It is the west side, but I have a better picture.
It's the other east side.
It's the other side, exactly. It's like
Yeah,
my
there's-
right, my other right.
There's already 2 chains that are hanging down in there.
Yeah.
And I would just basically,
That's what I
Attach
was
it.
thinking, it was probably gonna be right there.
and I think it actually goes very well with the core of the area.
What are the dimensions on the sign? Is it mentioned here, right?
Where if I put it in the report or not?
Which, the hanging with?
The
sign?
vinyls.
Vinyls. Did it say anywhere, the dimension on your vinyl crowd deal?
Just essentially what's proposed there to cover,
The simple rule of thumb for you guys when ordering.
I think it's less than
is-
30%.
Exactly.
isn't it?
Right,
Exactly.
I wanted to make
So-
sure.
I just know that
Okay,
and acknowledge that.
okay.
And
Okay.
know that it will not be an issue.
Well, I think the colors are aesthetic, and I think the signage is, I really like it, and I think it really goes well with the building, especially with the colors. And does anyone have any questions or comments? And if we don't, do we have a motion?
I move to approve this is submitted
Okay.
I'll second.
with the addition of new hardware and a mail slot if you choose.
Yeah, once again, I didn't know if that was something.
You'll probably need it.
Do you see that being a
I don't think there's a
problem?
mailbox out there, is
I don't
there?
either.
No, there's not. And we'll just basically cut out the
Yeah.
area and put a little.
And they have reproduction ones that look really good.
They do,
as
they
you know.
actually do, yeah.
So, yeah.
And Larry's okay with that? Okay.
All right, you have a motion to.
You don't care a whole lot.
You have a motion and a second to approve. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And I remember at the last meeting, you made a comment about you didn't know how it ended up being that purple. Surprisingly, that was on the approved color chart.
Really?
It was. I wasn't on the committee at that time, or the commission at that time, but I can remember.
How long ago, do you remember?
It's been a
Oh,
Long
gosh,
time.
About 10 years,
Yeah.
maybe.
Yeah.
or more.
No, longer than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Longer
Because
than
it's
that.
fairly-
You still had the Playhouse going,
I
didn't
think,
it?
I think it was prior to 97. I think it's about 95 or 96.
It's 20 years then, yeah.
Maybe.
But it was,
It's definitely, I get you.
it's,
As I understand, there was a lady that had it approved and it wasn't, she cried when she saw it because it was only supposed to be the
Yeah.
trim.
yeah,
Oh,
And
they
it
turned
turned out they
it.
painted the whole thing and it was
Yeah.
like,
yeah. So it was one of those, just all the way around, it was a mix-up.
Another question, it's kind of a silly question. Is there a time frame that it has to be completed in or anything like
Well, I
that?
thought you
The
wanted to
next
have it.
30 minutes.
You have a year.
A year.
As long as
Yeah.
this,
Yeah.
as long as you do it within a year.
There should be.
And
You
no
don't have to come
problem
back.
with that.
And you're opening in August?
If everything goes well, in 2 Mondays from now.
Well, sounds like you got a week. I'm
yeah.
just kidding.
It's pretty close. It's constantly getting really close.
Of course, I guess they can work on the outside while he's in cleaning.
Yeah.
And
It
checking
realistically,
and doing
it probably won't be all done by the time we open, just from
But you can get it
the
started.
timing of everything, but I just more or less want to get it approved too, so there's no hold up there.
Okay.
Well, you're good to go.
All right.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Thank you. Good luck. Next on our list is discussion of possible action regarding the property located at 118 East Oklahoma Avenue. And does staff have any comments?
I know that is the contractor on his way?
He's on his
Okay,
way.
okay.
He texted me color samples just in case he was
Oh, okay.
running too late, and I
Okay.
can show you those. But
Okay. Then I don't have any comments at this time.
Okay, so did everyone have a chance to look at the links through the email that Cody's assistant sent us to review? And I'm sure you did as well, right? The links for...
I'm not-
The ones that.
Regarding what?
The removal of paint specifically. They were the links.
Just
from-
requesting us to inquire about it?
To research it,
Yeah,
yes.
I did. Yeah, I got that,
Okay.
yeah.
Really would like to start with what what their thoughts are and comments are as far as paint removal, whether, what your thoughts are on repainting, if we don't have the color swatches, but,
We should have those momentarily.
I think my theory behind it is I looked at the building and I think it could be painted back a brick red or something, it'll look fine.
yeah,
You know, I can't see removing the paint because if you do, you're gonna destroy the mortar and everything else and they're gonna have to repoint
I
the
got a
whole
really
building.
good
and-
educational read out of that too,
Yeah,
so.
I've dealt with enough old buildings in town and still own a few of them, so.
Yeah.
The two citizens that spoke at the last meeting both talked to me privately and said they were fine if it went back to a more appropriate color, which they had also talked to some others that were concerned.
My only thought process is the cornerstone right
Okay.
here.
I can tell you what I found out. I can tell you what I found out about talking with two people who actually do this sandblasting, media, it's not actually sandblasting, it's media blasting. I think they do it with walnut chips or something like that. At any rate, when I talked to the gentleman who I thought would probably be best and more sensitive to the structure of the building, etc., he said to do this one piece that we have here would run at least $5,800, $5,900 and possibly over $6,000 just to do that portion. And when I talked to him, he said the brick and the mortar between it, he said he could not guarantee, and he said you can expect there to probably be some damage. I asked him specifically about this pillar that we're concerned about, and he said that thing is 100-year-old cement, and he said if I start media blasting that, it's liable to crumble. I apologize to the board for any miscommunication we had. When I got a call from Cherie saying, Brady, they're painting your building yellow, I canceled my afternoon appointments. I came up here, spent the afternoon up here, and I asked Cody to be there, that he was not available, nor apparently any of his staff. And I saw the paint color, and I thought, well, this has been approved by the board, and I had not ever seen the exact application that my contractor put in, so I just thought it was kosher, and I said, go ahead and do it. I never approved nor anticipated that column. That was a freebie done by the painter. But I'm real concerned, especially about the detail in that once we start media blasting, I think it's just going to fall apart. I have looked at a number of other buildings. I went down and just the 1 and 200 and 300 block and looked at buildings that have substantial paint on them. I've got probably 24 buildings here that I can cite you that have paint on them here in the historic area. Some of them are done better than others, some of them are done worse than others, but I think if we do a good job with it and pick the appropriate color, the brick can look pretty much like you want it to look. It'll blend in with what the rest of the block looks like. But there's some buildings that you can pass by in your downtown here and you don't realize they're painted because they're painted well, but they are painted. So I think the trick is getting the right color, and my contractor is on his way. I'm not sure he's going to be fast enough for us, but he just texted me, and I can show you the colors. He texted me swatches of 6 colors that are, I turned my phone off now, so let me boot it back up.
Well,
6.
While you pass that around, if you
Sure.
get it pulled
Yeah,
out,
I
I would
will.
like to, does the brick leak at all? I mean, that was my question too,
Not to my
because
knowledge.
if it doesn't leak, then what you said, what I was reading, I didn't want that to happen because
Yeah.
it can cause that brick
It
to
can
leak.
cause a lot of internal damage.
And then you have the other issue of the Christmas lights. Do you foresee replacing those after?
Actually, I would prefer not to have those Christmas lights on my building, period.
I'm not sure why they're there, because they have the company that put up the lights last year, and I thought they had taken down all the ones that, maybe they haven't purchased in that block yet, new
They-
lights for that block yet. That may be what it is.
They were installed, for the record, they were installed, I believe, prior to my purchasing the building.
Right.
In '97.
I know the Christmas
They are.
committee is in the process of trying to get all new lighting that's LED.
Oh, that's
And that
great.
new company that put them up last year is taking them down and will put them back up every year. But they've got to have some more help to be able to pull
Okay,
that off
which way do
financially.
we want to pass this?
Whichever direction you
Let me pass it
start there.
down there. See if
So I don't know what method
And if they were painted over, they're not going to be any good at Christmas anyway.
yeah.
but they should be taken off if they're going to be painted over. I mean,
Yeah. Well,
But
perhaps
it-
the company that's going to put in new LED lights will do that.
These look like they're all like just graduated shades of the
brick, brick color.
Well, would you not want those removed prior to painting? That way you're not having somebody remove that lighting and messing
Well, maybe I can
everything.
have our painter at this point in time take them down if that meets with your approval.
I think it'd be better to take down those Christmas lights than
Okay.
to leave them since, I mean, they're not any good at this point.
Right.
And
I think any of those would work. I blew it up a little bit for you.
Oh, thank you.
And as far as the column, there's a lot of detail in there, and I know I'm sticking to that. I'm just wondering if there's not some type of easy method to where you can soak that paint to where I know not all the paint would come off, but leaving the detail to bring some of that back, some of the character. This column right here.
I know which column you're talking about, I'm not
I
certain
don't
I follow
know
your
what method
process.
we could use.
They have those.
A soft method to where you can
They have
use a
those.
surface part
the
of
paint
it.
removal.
There's a gel.
But I don't think
There's
you would have to
there's a
remove
couple
all
of
of
different
it.
options, and I emailed
Yeah,
it to
your
you.
graffiti.
There's
removal.
like, graffiti removal, then there was one that was goofy and called Elephant Snot, and then there
Yeah.
was one called Peel Away, and then there was another one called Smart something. The Peel Away one, like a gallon of it would do, the manufacturer said it would do like 50 square feet, and it's like a $50 gallon. But to do that to your entire facade on the top would be a little more than, a little bit more than what's, you can handle, but if that product or one of those like that could be used on the column.
Will it actually take off all the paint, do you think?
There have been, I sent Cody some records that they've had, historic building rehabbers have had a lot of luck. One of the Boston, like the Boston City Hall was actually done using a couple of these products, so they've had a lot of luck with them. So, I mean, if we could concentrate on trying to just to remove the paint just off of that architectural feature, and then paint the rest of the brick,
Like an orange brick.
I think that would be.
Okay, and what happens if this product doesn't work? for
Well,
this-
and that's where I
for
was
this
going. We
application?
don't have to necessarily get it
The column, was
100%.
it painted before?
No,
It was not.
it was
It was
just
the
plain
concrete color.
concrete, yeah.
We don't
Also-
necessarily have to get it
Okay.
100%, but I think through time,
It's hard to
it
tell
will
from
age
the old
again
photographs
and
my
just look
memory.
natural.
It's
That's
gone.
what
It
my
was
thought
rough.
process
Okay.
is. But I don't want to try to scrub it to where we take everything out and then have that chemical, whatever's made that stone, whether it has iron in it or whatever, and I don't really want to mess it, but I'm thinking if we could get some of that going to help that process, so it, throughout the years, it just kind of
Naturally.
yeah,
Comes off.
without deteriorating the design on it, because it really is a pretty column. I know it's only one column, and I know I'm stuck on that, but that's part of that building, and
It's the unique architectural feature of that building. That's what makes that one stand out and look
Actually, that's part of the other building before it fell down.
Well, it's there, but it's stuck on it. It's stuck on it, but it's cool.
I think a reasonable solution for that column would be to sample some of these products on a small section, find out what it does. If there's a product that works, I mean, that's terrific. If, it seems like it's doing more damage than good. The other alternative would be, part of my problem with this paint is it's all shiny. You lose detail in shiny paint. If it was a matte paint, you would see some of that detail that we can't see at all right now. But I do think we should try stripping paint off that column. But if it really seems improbable, I think part of the problem is just the paint on the brick, on the stone, everything's shiny.
well, and another thought process is to go with a lighter version color and have someone highlight a detail. Have you seen like on Dr. Coffin's building where the brick is outlined?
I haven't
No,
noticed, but I know
she
what you're
painted those
talking
bricks.
about.
They are,
Painted, that ain't
each brick
outlined,
is
that's actually
painted.
painted.
Yeah,
That
each
whole
brick
building's
is
painted.
individual.
Right, but you can make
Because they
this
couldn't get the
look-
stucco off without
You
pulling the
can
whole
make this
facade off.
look just like it did with paint, a matte finish, making it
The
look
finish,
just
I
as real
think,
as
is a
it
big part of the
was.
problem. It's just so shiny.
So
don't see
are you
anything.
suggesting then that we just go ahead and repaint it with matte and get a complementary darker color to paint some of the detail in there and have it be more
Well, the color was a light,
On that column.
on the column we're talking about? I understand.
Column, I mean, it was kind of, because I looked at the Google Map images, because you could kind of see some things you couldn't see of this other picture. And on the computer screen, you can really zoom in and see details. I mean, I almost thought it was painted. I know it wasn't painted, I walked by it, but it almost looked painted. It was so white, it's just that it's much more matte. There was also some areas up in the brick that were not. I mean, there's stone up there that was not painted to start with. And there's some of those details that, you know, got lost in the paint.
Good point. So I looked at your color charts, and he's on his way, right?
Yes, he is.
I think we've all come to the conclusion that that painting of the brick would be best. It's the idea of what color we can look at. I think a darker shade of brick, orange brick, is best. And I think we want to kind of separate, not too much from this wall. I'm trying to complement each other with those colors. But I think we need to decide on what we want to motion on, as far as, do we want to go ahead and try to remove the paint from that small column, or do we want to try to create a column to make it look like it was with a different type of paint to make it look original? And that's...
If my preference counts for anything, and it may not in this
I
case, and I
wonder if-
understand that, I'd prefer to paint. I think we could do a wonderful job of painting it, taking off the sheen like you suggested, and doing it a matte finish, and then maybe with just a little darker shade of this same come in on the recessed areas to highlight those features that you would like to see highlighted. I think that would look cool to me.
Or maybe a gray stone color?
Well, yeah, we could do a gray stone color if for that matter, but I wonder if just a darker version, you know, in the same color palette might do better on these little recessed areas. I think if we stayed with that same color palette, it'd probably be better. But I'm amenable to doing whatever here. I realize what's happened, so.
Whatever brick color's picked, it's got to be look good with this sandstone next door to it.
That's why I'm thinking a darker orange brick.
You're
We could-
suggesting this appears to me to be the darkest, but we'll have him,
Okay.
I think he did that light to dark there.
Once again, the wall looks great. It's so nice to have that painted.
Yeah, I'm happy to have it painted too. Well, let me, while we're throwing out ideas here and kind of waiting for the painter, this little area of stone that's kind of the eyelash to these two windows here, what would you all think about leaving that the color that it is right now and painting the bricks around it and having that as a kind of feature of that stone? Is that a good, I'm not a decorator, so I don't know, but, I mean,
I
is
don't-
that something you think would be good or bad?
I don't think that would help, because I mean,
Yeah.
being
Okay.
able to see the stone, I think is nice. Highlighting that we painted the stone, even if it's accidental, I don't think is really what we're gonna highlight.
That's exactly what my thought process was. That's
All
a good
right.
thought.
We'll just paint it the same color then, that'd be fine with me.
I still don't know if I've heard a motion, and I don't know if the board wants to wait on the contractor with the paint samples to get here or not, but we've seen kind of a pattern with the photos that were on the phone. If you remember right, the board actually gave staff the authority to help with the color on the east-facing exterior. And so to make sure that we're not wasting any time here, if you think that you're good with those samples that you saw before, the darkest orange hue that was presented, there can be a motion. I still don't know where we stand on the column necessarily, but
I would still like to see the peel away, just try a little section of it, like on the back side, and just see if, because if one of that peel away stuff is, at $50 a gallon and it'll do a bunch, you'll have, if you give a sample, it shouldn't be too involved. I mean, it's just you put it on, you let it sit, and you take it off, and if you need to do it again, you do it again. I would
And
like to
then-
see that.
Okay,
But
and,
if for some reason it's damaging,
yeah, well,
I-
and who makes that decision? Does our painter on the site do that? Do we have to call anybody to get approval? I mean, how do
Right,
the
that's-
logistics of that work?
Well,
What
could
do you
we in the motion give staff the approval to, if it doesn't work,
This is gonna be the most exciting motion I've ever. I'll tell you that. I'm like,
Cody, how much work can we
Tuesday,
give
if it's
you?
this, then we, yeah.
Well, perhaps you could bifurcate the motion. Just take
yes.
this section,
Let's-
have one motion on
let's
that,
do
have a
the-
separate motion on the column.
The
Right.
pit
That works.
color.
I think that would be the.
That's basically-
I'll make a motion for approving color palette with, negotiating it with staff, making sure that it's complementary to the building and the other wall beside it.
For the bricks
Yes, for the bricks.
For the stone.
and the stone
And
on the upper level.
Yes.
I'll second
Yes,
it.
yes, there we
I'll
go.
second it.
And for the column, I think,
Just a minute, we have to do
Yeah,
this.
vote on
first.
it, then.
He's still writing. We don't want to get him too confused.
He's gonna be pulling up the YouTube going, now, what did we say?
The first attempt is motion to approve painting the brick and stone, or motion to approve painting the brick with approved hue. Any heartburn over that? Okay,
I do have a question though.
okay.
The paint that is on it right now, I think it's too shiny for brick. When we do the red color, can we do something more matte finish?
Sure. And I think that's a
I
good idea.
absolutely
Yes,
agree.
yes.
Matte
A matte.
Matte
Matte
finish.
Matte
Finish.
finish, yes.
Not flat, but matte.
Matte.
Yes.
Got it.
We want it to look as close to brick as it can look, and if it's shiny, it
It doesn't,
That's
yeah.
true.
Like plastic brick.
Not Legos. Let's build it with Legos.
Okay. We're making a stab at the next one.
Let me
Or
ask.
do you want to go ahead and vote on
Vote
this?
on it.
Yeah.
And then we'll.
Motion to approve painting brick with approved hue and a matte finish. You have a motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Halfway done. Halfway done.
Okay, and then on the column, I know that is there a brick behind that column that was painted to blend, I mean?
I think there's brick, there's
That's what it looked
stone
like
above,
before. That helps.
above that, I think.
So
Above
would we
that
want to
column.
paint that brick behind, right
There you
on
go.
each side of that?
I only got 6, and we have to share.
Okay.
Rush.
We just approved your paint, so now we're just worrying about the color.
Color.
Oh, okay.
So it is all one color, it was not just separated from the wall, it was all
So which colors are we talking
The
about?
column was
and
itself.
behind it, around it,
Is it
the
this
same color.
group?
Okay.
Well, we
It's
can
not
use it here,
separated,
whatever.
there's no
Yes.
color separating the wall and the column. Well, depending on, well, we're looking at does everyone have the same color? Or we're looking at different colors?
Are all these the same color?
Yeah, they're all the same
Okay.
brochure, yes.
So,
What were you saying, the Cajun red?
I like the Cajun red.
oh, this is just the front
Yeah,
of that.
that's
It
just,
looked
I
to
was
me
just
to be-
showing you, man, I
Okay,
was on my
to be-
way. And
Okay,
I
that
saw
looked to
the
me to be
picture showing.
different hues, I didn't
Yeah.
understand.
It
It
made
did appear.
the Cajun red, cool red, or Rembrandt maybe look like, just from my
What's on
visual
here?
image I have in my head.
This one right here.
Pardon me, I didn't hear you. Cajun red what?
These three, just from the image that I
Okay.
have in my head, might be the closest potential to blend in with the sandstone next door and the wall, the side wall that
I
you've
think
already
somewhere
done.
in this family, if you can get the colors up next to the sandstone and see what appears to look.
I think the color we're probably looking at is Cajun red, because we really
Yeah.
want it to be the darker.
And that's the first one it seemed like most people gravitated to.
Mm-hmm. Do we want to amend our motion to approve that color? Is that something you want to do now, or
Oh,
not?
I think we need a judge making sure that,
Just go hold it and see, make
make
sure.
sure it looks good with the others, so.
I'd start there.
Cody, are you able to do that in a few minutes after the meeting
Yes.
with
Yes,
Todd? Okay.
We'll plan on catering a break for the breakups there on the top. Now we're focused on the,
On the column and what we're gonna motion on this one.
Right.
I propose that we try to do something with a matte finish, not flat. But I don't know if I'm not really settled on the same color scheme. To me, that's a buttercream. It's far removed from a stone color, but it needs to be as close to,
A precast stone, maybe a porcelain,
French gray or?
maybe a porcelain or a classic light buff.
Or even a twilight gray or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, that would.
I mean, that's more of
Yeah.
a,
Uh-huh.
but I don't know with your colors what might look
typically a
the best.
precast stone is
Yeah.
more in the white
Yeah.
family, but it's got a little bit of cream, just a little
Little
bit
bit.
of cream in it.
the important thing that, I don't know if you heard or not,
Actually-
but matte finish.
Yeah, matte
Okay.
finish, that's not a big deal. I think that porcelain actually. Yeah, I don't know.
I think,
Tough
you-
one.
I think the porcelain would be probably your best bet, because we're gonna get too dark here, possibly. We can look at,
But, you wanted to try the,
If there's a sample, I don't even know if they give samples away, but the peel away specifically, I think is the one that, in my research was the best option that was at the least damaging to the buildings, et cetera. And just try it and test it and see if it'll take the paint off without any damage to the building or pulling up any mortar or any of the stuff out.
but then
Just on the
but then
pillar.
if it does,
But then
we'd
if
like
it
to leave
does.
it like it is. I mean, I don't wanna repaint it, right? Is that
Yeah.
what-
if it takes the paint
Works.
off, leave it
Yeah,
as it was.
seats come off.
Bring you up to speed, we're talking about a product called Peel Away. It's $50 a gallon, and probably a gallon would do this. You apply it, and we're not sure whether it's gonna take it off without damage or not.
Oh.
But if it can take it off, we wanna take it off with Peel Away.
Okay.
And if we can't, then we wanna paint, correct? Is that what I'm hearing the board say?
Correct.
And then the question is, what color to paint?
I think
If we paint.
it's closest to the original, I see as porcelain. Does
Yeah,
anyone?
I think
okay.
the two best, porcelain and I think, maybe a twilight gray,
Well,
but,
if we do the highlighting, it may be
right.
that can
Right.
be used, just because it is the darker,
Mhm,
bring out
mhm,
some of the shadowing on it.
mhm.
They wanted you to do the highlight on it, or, okay.
What's the motion sound like?
Okay, I make a motion, I'm gonna try this.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to attempt a sample of a peel away product or of the like. If it damages the brick and the stonework, to paint it to highlight the column features.
And if
With
it
porcelain and twilight gray.
With a porcelain or twilight gray or something of that, in a matte finish.
But if the product does remove the stone, we'll leave the stone.
I'll second it.
You know that, right? He's like, what?
I've seconded.
All right.
Okay, as soon as he gets it down.
But if the stone does come out, and it doesn't have to be 100% removed, we just want to try to recover what was originally there. So it's not like you just got to keep
And then let
getting
time
those
wear away the
pipes and
rest of
wear it
it.
out. But if we can get it.
And
I
every
don't
time
wanna
one of us
paint it.
walks by, we can strip off a little more.
Thinking they'll
If that even works.
Exactly.
Okay.
And you said matte.
Matte rather than flat finish.
And not a glossy,
Okay.
or semi-glossy.
I'll talk to
Yeah, they were concerned about the shiny nature of the finish that we have. They don't want that.
We're losing some of the detail just in the
Right.
shine of the paint, it's reflecting, so.
Attempt to remove paint using product. If attempt fails, paint with porcelain colored paint. Good.
highlighted by
And
twilight
if the
gray.
product
And the
does-
twilight gray is the
does
color you
work,
chose?
It's
For highlight.
but the potential,
Yeah,
there's
I
a
like
potential between the porcelain and the twilight gray, 'cause I
Yeah.
think those are closest to
I
that.
think
natural
either one of
color.
them would
But-
work color-wise.
Yes, he had to turn the AC down for the robotics to work. Shelby's gonna be so mad looking at these minutes tomorrow.
I don't know why.
Okay, you have a motion and a second. All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried.
Now, one thing we didn't put in either of the motions, but I want to say this in front of Todd because I think it's your intent. They want the painter to take down those Christmas lights.
Oh, that's gonna be extra.
Isn't it always?
Well, tell you
All
what,
right,
you
so-
can have the Christmas lights.
You get to keep them. You get to keep them.
How is
That's
Christmas
awesome.
lights hung on that brick? Do we know? Are they,
Oh, man, they've used so many different methods.
I don't wanna like pull the nails out. Just
Well,
leave 'em.
when they started, they were using cup hooks back in the 80s. I have no idea what every building has on it now, so, yeah. And that's why are now trying to get professionals to
Yeah, I think
install
they
them and
did
take them
before
down.
you painted them.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so,
They've been on 20 years.
All right.
does staff have any more comments?
Staff comment, I mean, honestly, we talked about it a little bit earlier. I'm probably just gonna be looking for some head nods right here. But today is our deadline. We've passed our deadline now for historic preservation packets for the month of August. So you don't actually have anything. If you want to meet just to approve the night's meetings, you can. Or we can postpone we can cancel, we still have enough time to cancel the regularly scheduled August meeting according to our deadlines.
Just approve it in September.
Yeah.
Approve in
Yeah.
September, okay. We will see you guys in September. I will tell Jim Hanky that he doesn't have to worry about that
Okay.
meeting. So, that's all I got. Thank you guys very much for coming.
Appreciate it.
Go on the record, I appreciate the cooperation of the commission.
I really
Thank
appreciate you
very
showing
much.
up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Taking another look at it all.
Yeah.
So we'll push this more further and faster. Commission, do we have any comments from the commissioners?
I have one.
I'm checking on that matte finish real quick.
Okay.
I just.
Matte or eggshell be the same, just about eggshell finish.
Yeah, how you doing?
There is,
We're looking at a
couple
matte
people in the
finish on
building
the exterior.
I
Researching.
mean, that's-
Historic
Buildings that
preservation.
we want,
Preservation.
And
Yeah,
there's a couple
exactly.
people
Is that-
that make
what
comments
would-
about, you know,
would it be
stuff that's
called
been done in
matte?
buildings and
Or what would
whatnot.
it be called?
And so I was.
Or eggshell.
Starting telling
Eggshell be
them
the same thing.
Okay,
you know,
just
have
low
something
sheen
to say,
across
come to
there.
the
And it's
community.
even a lower
It's
sheen
very
than a
low, sent
flat.
an email this Sunday to one of the commissioners.
No, yeah, eggshell's
Said it
pretty
would,
low.
help
It's
give us
close.
a bit of guidance, help us keep
Okay.
us
It
informed.
It just doesn't have any shine to it.
But
I use that on my cover.
They just want the low sheets like that.
So that's what I've started doing.
Right.
It's not a huge deal.
I-
but
Flat has
When they
no
come in,
sheen.
so.
People, when they
Okay,
talk
good
about
for you.
plants,
I
it's
agree.
like-
He doesn't have
Yeah,
a matte, the
absolutely.
term matte, so we're just trying to figure out, since it's not the term matte, he has a,
Just asking about eggshell.
what about eggshell? That,
Flat would be, flat would work.
He said flat had no sheen to it.
Right, that would work.
okay, flat would
Because
probably.
that's what they, you don't want
Flat
to shine
would
on
go
it
away.
anyway.
Well, my
Yeah.
comment
Yeah.
on flat, doesn't it always kind of like get a
Flat-
haze to it?
Flat
or
would be.
get
flat would be our
fingerprinty,
best
like
bet,
get
with
dirt?
No sheen.
Doesn't it collect flat finish, doesn't it?
Okay, that's what I
That's
need.
why
Thank you.
eggshell's better than flat,
Well, in a
right?
house, because people's hands are up on it
Yeah.
all the time, I think that's one reason they don't encourage you to use flat, because you
Right.
can't just wash the wall off.
Right, that's where.
You'll wash the paint away. But I don't know that they
We
would do
just
the
want
same
something
thing on a
less
brick.
shiny than what we have right
So
now.
what'd you find out?
Flat would be
Flat.
the choice if you want no shine.
Then so be it.
And
Can
I
we amend the
think,
motion to show flat there instead of matte, because there is no such thing in this
I heard
thing.
flat.
I heard flat.
I heard flat.
Okay, good.
We heard flat. We heard talking
All
flat.
right.
It rhymes.
Okay, so, do I have a motion for adjournment?
I'll make a motion, we adjourn.
You're good.
Thank you all for coming.
We'll meet you over there.
yeah.